jump into some convention talk. We haven't talked about conventions in a while because ever since pretty much the big V hit, conventions have kind of been a not go-to topic because, let's be honest, we don't really know when we're going to be able to have massive gatherings of a convention manner. And I don't want to sound negative, but I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon. But with the canceling of many conventions, and I mean, we just literally did our stream, me and Jaws D, over San Diego Comic-Con weekend, reminiscing on what could have been. I made a brief mention that also Botcon was doing a little like, hey, you know, we would have done Botcon, you know, this week and it didn't happen, so like we're doing a little online thing. And during that little Botcon digital weekend, they did a announcement saying that they're going to be doing a 2021 convention. It's going to be sometime in summer. They don't have a date yet or a location. And I don't blame them because, in all honesty, when everything is so unstable as it is, you don't really want to lock down anywhere right now and get people's hopes up. They just have a vague right now date, and I don't blame them. But they did announce their first Botcon exclusive. And it is kind of interesting and intriguing what they have here. It's the Action Force Wasp Raider. Now, for people who don't know what Action Force is or what that whole story, so I'll just do a quick little, you know, microscopic history lesson. Action Force, it was a break-off in Europe of what was Action Man by Hasbro. It became, you know, during the 80s, Action Force was the go-to for what G.I. Joe was pretty much used and promoted and titleized in Europe. And it kind of has this loose connection now today with G.I. Joe, but it really has kind of spun off to be its own thing. And then you jump forward to like 2019, and Bobby Valla, who is a former Hasbro designer, he kind of like got the rights to Action Force and then started his own Kickstarter in 2019, which of course got funded, and then started what was called the Valaverse, which is his own, I guess we'll call it 6-inch G.I. Joe-esque Action Force related figures. And he did a whole bunch of these, and they look really good and everything. And it seems that because Bobby Valla was at all of the Joe Cons done by Fun Publication back in the day, again, connected to Botcon, the contacts were there and the connections were there, and they stayed in touch. And when it was time to do a Botcon exclusive, they turned to Bobby, and they looked at what they did in the past with his Valaverse stuff, and they were really intrigued by the Swarm Trooper character, which was at the time yellowish. And they're like, hey, why don't we do like a Waspinator kind of color scheme to this and release it? And that's what it's going to be. So this is the Botcon 2021 exclusive, the Wasp Raider, clearly inspired and nodding to Waspinator from Beast Wars, if you didn't already make that connection. These are 1x12 scales. So to give a little bit of a perspective, those are 6-inch. So they're not G.I. Joe scaled. They're more, I guess, the modern G.I. Joe figure scaled. Black Series, you know, Marvel Legends, which seems to be the more popular scale today now with our figures, as opposed to 3-inch, 3 1/4. So, I mean, it works. It works. It looks really good. I like the just the coloring and everything. Part of me was kind of hoping it was the 3 1/4 because I have all of those Fun Publication 3-inch, you know, Only Human and G.I. Joe kind of related Transformer stuff. But it is what it is. You know, 6-inch is the new scale now, especially with Joe. So it's to be expected. Now we have a little bit of a bio here that was given to me by Jesse from Botcon. So I'll kind of read it off here. It's a troop builder, part of the Action Force storyline. The Swarm are shady peacekeepers for hire and have mental implants to create sort of a hive mind to stay organized and relay real-time mission statuses. There are standard troops, yellow, but also specialized divisions. Wasp Raiders are one of those divisions. As the elite soldiers, they often serve as officers that lead the standard troops on offensive maneuvers. So these are pretty much their cyborg characters. But of course, you know, anyone could have their own fanon in their mind, and I'm already looking at this as a form of an Only Human kind of Waspinator character for Beast Wars. But this is really cool stuff. I dig what they're doing here. It pretty much kind of indirectly confirms that at least for the initial Botcon, they're going to be going with more, I guess we'll call it like third-party kind of Transformer creations. And we'll see what happens in the future from an official Hasbro thing. But at least, when you're starting with a third-party creation, it's not bad to have it done by a guy who was a Hasbro designer like Bobby Valla. So good way to start. Good way to start. I'm intrigued with where they're going to go with this moving forward. I definitely want to go out to Botcon and check out their inaugural brand new show. But when that's going to happen, who knows? I mean, TFCon, I love TFCon, but we already have 2 that were canceled, and I don't know. We'll see what the future brings. I don't want to sound negative, but it's like I always feel like we got to really take this 1 month at a time. We really do. And it's conventions are a very, like, of all the things we're trying to get back to normal in this world, whether it be businesses or restaurants or even just basic stores and stuff, conventions are probably going to be the most difficult to bounce back, just because of how conventions were before this whole world went on its head. Where conventions before it was on its head were crowded spaces, kind of low hygiene at times. Just, everyone's touching everything, very social, hugging, glomping, autographs, it's, like meet and greets with guests. Very difficult to do in this modern era that we live in today. But anyways, enough about that. Check out this Botcon stuff. Looks pretty cool. We'll have more information as it develops. Obviously, it's going to be a slow burn, but we'll figure this all out when the time comes.